What is up with y'all? It's your boy D-Lo. We are back with another video, and today we're going to go ahead and react to some TikTok theories. Some TikTok conspiracy theories. Shout out to Cody Does Horror. Like this video, thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, love this channel. Welcome. Let's get into this video.
How in 1927 Universal Studios came up with this picture of the world when the first picture of the world wasn't available until the 1960s through NASA? Almost 40 years later, how did Universal Studios know that this is what the world looked like? Especially from space when we hadn't been to space yet. Does anyone know? Anyone want to guess?
Has Kanye West been cloned? If you've been on TikTok
Better not
for
have.
5 seconds, you've probably heard this Kanye West conspiracy theory stating that the rapper has actually been replaced with a clone. But where does the conspiracy come from? The answer, surprisingly, is that it originates from Kanye West himself. West is no stranger to controversy or sometimes off-the-wall remarks, and this recent freestyle of his is no exception. But that's not all. People have taken to social media with height comparisons of Kanye and various celebrities before and after the supposed cloning took place. West's height is 5'8", and here he is with his former wife, Kim Kardashian, who is 5'2".
I was about to say.
West's new wife, Bianca Censori, is purportedly only 1 inch shorter than him at 5'7", but there are multiple photographs showing Censori who looks much shorter than West wearing heels, even while he's more or less barefoot. But the rumors don't end there. West's general appearance and strange new habit of wearing upper body padding has sparked some unusual headlines along with his strange new fashion choices. And the rapper himself keeps making strange allusions to other celebrities and various pop culture conspiracy theories.
Do you know the first time I ever took medication, why I was? Because I got mad at paparazzi.
I'm so sorry.
You know what paparazzi was?
No.
The same one that shot Britney.
No.
We ain't going nowhere, baby. You've been here for years.
If I ever went anywhere, we know why. You understand what I'm saying?
West and Censori also made headlines after West's recent attack on the brand Balenciaga for its recent highly controversial and incredibly shady ad campaign, only to show up shopping at a Balenciaga store. Definitely an unusual 180 to make after coming out so hard against the brand. So, is all this just West's attempt to stay in the headlines or something more sinister? I'll let you be the judge,
Could be
but
both.
I'd love to know what you think. Is Kanye West a clone, or is this all just one big publicity stunt?
They might come after
both.
me for telling you this. Moving on to the end of our list here, we have the Rothschild Rockefellers. This refers to the 2 most powerful and richest families in the world. Starting off with the Rothschilds, which was 5 brothers that basically own and control the banking in all of Europe. Through this, they amassed a fortune, and since then have funded major military efforts, bailed out banks and even governments, and basically have their companies and hand in almost every country across the world. On the other side in America, we have the Rockefellers, who amassed their fortune through industrialization and the monopolization of the oil company. With this money, they were able to fund such projects like the atomic bomb, the invention of nuclear weapons, and even had a major role in funding and creating the UN. The actual net worth of both these families is unknown, but it could be anywhere from 500 billion upwards to the trillions. And the theory here is that they control everything, from what you hear, to the money you receive, to the systems put in order that you follow. And of course, guys, with a lot of money comes a lot of power. But power leads to dangerous situations. And even though this is theory, revealing this information could be very dangerous because
I ain't gonna lie, I read TikTok's hella slow. I don't know why. But follow mankind, and now everyone's carrying around a device with them with a bitten apple on the back.
Andrew Dawson filmed what he claimed was a giant on top of a mountain in Jasper National Park in Alberta, Canada. In the following days, he tried to get closer to find and film the creature, but in the process claimed to be stopped, harassed, followed, and stalked by the CIA. He then stops posting videos for over a month, and when he returns, uploads an update video that is extremely strange, and viewers pointed out that it seemed like it was forced. His next video that he uploads would be his last, because a month and a half later, sadly, tragedy struck. That's a brief overview of this strange saga. I just uploaded a full-length video documenting this on my YouTube channel.
Okay guys, I just found something out and it's blowing my mind. Some of you may already know this, so don't come in the comments like, you didn't know that? No, I didn't. You know why? Because I live in the United States of America, where we have been brainwashed and not been taught about real history. Okay, if you guys go to the first video on this playlist, the simulation, I filmed it on January 11th, 2021. And it was showing how all of the times were different on every clock, every digital clock. My boyfriend at the time was working. He had like 3 computers in front of him. They all said different times. His phone said a different time. He came upstairs to show me my phone said a different time. All the times were messed up. In my comments, people were like, what about analog clocks? As you can see, I have analog clocks. So I went to check those and those were off too. So I was like, there's been a weird shift in the universe because the ball also didn't drop on time at the New York ball. It was like a minute late or something. I was like, we've definitely shifted dimensions. Something's going on. Look at this. I recently came across a video talking about how the calendar is supposed to have 13 months, but the Gregorian calendar changed it, which is the calendar we follow today. So I see this comment, come to Ethiopia, you will see what you are saying. We have 13 months within a year. So someone commented, right now we're in 2014, year of Mercury. Today's date is Thursday, the 22nd of March, 2014. Our new year is on the 1st of September. And I was like, wait, they're living in 2014 and we're living in 2022? Is that why they say that all time is simultaneous, like past, present, and future, we're all living in it at once? But then I saw this comment. So if we're in 2014, according to your calendar, 2020 Gregorian calendar corresponds to 2012 your calendar when the truth started to come out and people woke. So the Mayans were right. COVID really put everyone in 2020. Using your calendar, that means that the year 2012 was the end of the world. Mind blown. Okay, so of course I had to look up when our calendar started. It was in 1582. Ethiopian calendar started around AD 400. So they are obviously way more correct than we are. How many years did we lose switching to the Gregorian calendar? 8 years. We're lost in translation when the switch to the Gregorian calendar was made to the 15th century. And if you guys remember, the Mayan calendar says that the end of the world would be on December 21st, 2012. And even according to the Julian calendar, that would be on January 21st, 2020, when COVID was at its peak. So I'm freaking out in the middle of the night and I message my dear friend JK Ultra Jen. If you guys aren't following her, please go follow her, who's super into all this stuff. And I was like, girl, I'm sure you know this, but did you know this? And her and I are both freaking out because we didn't know this. So she goes and converts what day is December 21st, 2012 in the Ethiopian calendar. What does it calculate to us? December 31st, 2019. So
damn.
The last day of the world, according to the Mayan calendar, was on December 21st, 2012, if we had kept up with the original calendar. But because we switched it, it was December 31st, 2019. So in 2020, the new world started. So we have already shifted into a new dimension. And this is why everything is so different. This makes so much sense. Are you guys freaking out? Because I'm freaking out.
I have this poster that exposes every conspiracy theory on the planet. Today, we will decode the truth on the top secret U.S. military base named Diego Garcia. This base lies in the center of the Indian Ocean and has proven to be strategically vital in all overseas affairs. The drama revolving around Diego Garcia started in the 1960s when the British Empire forcefully removed the locals from their homeland. Since then, this island has been shrouded in mystery. In 2008, Time magazine claimed that there was a black site prison on the island operated by the CIA, where detainees were held and tortured. Claims have also been thrown that the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 secretly landed here, and that all of the passengers became experiments for the CIA. If you wanted to visit the island yourself, you would need to get special clearance. You aren't getting in there. Diego Garcia has been a topic of conspiracy for decades now. Who truly knows what horrors go on beneath the surface of that remote island?
Right.
It's the government hiding an entire civilization from us. The Tartarians were said to be a civilization that unlocked the key to free energy, allowing the Tartarians to advance exponentially, as citizens were allowed to express their creativity freely, without the stress of work, leading to many great inventions and grand architecture. However, a powerful organization that controlled the world with the cell of energy had already invested heavily into energy production and lobbied against Tartaria, as free energy will essentially take away all the control that they had. This organization tore Tartaria apart and erased them from our history books, making it seem like Tartaria never existed apart and erased them from our history books, making it seem like Tartaria never existed. But if you look carefully, the evidence of Tartaria is still there, in old maps, in architecture around the world that seemed to advance, places like the Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China, or even the pyramids in Egypt looked way too advanced to have been built by the respective nations, but collectively, all have similar themes in their design, similar themes aimed at harvesting energy. So,
wake up.
Different languages and gives instructions on how to rebuild.
Need to focus and try not to let stuff bother you as much as possible. But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still. Gonna bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still. But I was just
privacy thing, and I thought that was a fascinating answer.
Okay, you want to take off the hoodie?
No, I never take off the
I know you don't. There's a group of women in the audience that wish you would.
No.
Girls?
Whoa.
All right.
Sorry. That's okay.
I should take off the hoodie.
Take off the hoodie.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Here. You all right? What? Oh, my
really?
God, the inside of the hoodie, everybody. Take a look. What is it? Making the
world more open and connected.
Oh my God, it's like a secret
Cool.
vault. Look at that, making the world open and connected, stream, graph, platform, and this weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati. This weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati. Oh my God, it's like a secret vault. This weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati.
Look
oh
like
my
a sheriff
God,
symbol.
it's like a secret.
Wow's on.
That motherfucker looking at us.
This is a part 2 to my brothers and sisters in Catholic faith. Please wake up. What's up, guys? It's Calvin. Hit that plus number for more content like this and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Straight to it. This is an ex-pope. That's a satanic hand sign. Ancient art, satanic hand sign. I wouldn't recommend reading it, but these are a satanic hand signs. And this is the name.
They are? I ain't doing this no more.
Famous people using these satanic hand signs all the time. Here's a satanic person using that same hand sign. It's a very sad story.
I didn't know that.
Here's a Baphomet using that hand sign. Here's a satanic high priest, Anton LaVey, using that satanic hand sign. The Beatles using satanic hand signs. Look at John Lennon. Ancient art of a false Jesus with these satanic hand signs. Stay with me. And here's an ex-pope with an upside inverted cross on his chair. And then look at the comparison to the satanic.
36-year-old Scottish computer engineer, Gary McKinnon. They are there to arrest him on behalf of the United States Justice Department for hacking into top secret computers at NASA and the Pentagon. McKinnon not only admits to the crime, but claims he uncovered evidence that the U.S. government was working with extraterrestrial beings.
Whoa.
There were a lot of text files that had lists of places, installations, military bases, Air Force bases, Navy sites, NASA sites. So there was a lot to go through. But I did find a goldmine of information.
According to McKinnon, he unearthed a secret U.S. military program that existed entirely in space.
I found the spreadsheet was actually titled in the column non-terrestrial officers, as well as officers' names. It had ship names. None of these were ocean-going ships. It was astounding.
Well, the government got smart. They stopped doing all the inventions and all the technology themselves, because once they developed the technology themselves, they had to give you the FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, where you can pull down the records and see exactly what they're doing. So now they subcontract out all the work to Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, and all these places, right? Northrop Grumman. So you can't see what the hell's going on. You have no clue what's out there. I'm here to tell you the technology is 300 years ahead of whatever you could dream of. 300, not 40, not 50, not 100, 300. Whatever you can think, whatever you can imagine in your mind, whatever you can conjure up and think based on whatever sci-fi movie you saw before, I'm here to tell you it already exists.
Damn.
It already exists.
Damn.
I went back on Google Earth viewing Antarctica at this lab building that has reptilian skulls on display.
What? You can do
That's
that?
when I noticed a man with sunglasses and a beanie peeking through the crack of the door. Really creepy.
Ooh. Ooh.
One point that I'll talk about without getting CIA's permission. Since World War II, we learned that there has been an alien hybridization of humans.
Exclusively since World War II?
World War II. That's when the CIA learned about it. World War II. That's what prompted me to look back at World War II and say, okay, where did this information come from?
But still, it should be a DNA record of that. We should be able to tell them.
Absolutely. And that's what's not released. That's still...
Well, but I mean, this is being done by academics. This is, the government doesn't do the DNA research.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Well, sure, but it's not private, right? There's no classification of our DNA. You can't classify looking into our DNA. You can classify our DNA? You think that they're holding secrets of our DNA from us?
Certainly.
How can they do that?
Because the law allows CIA and the intelligence community to do operations.
That's why Indiana
like that, because no one bothers to read
the
law.
So you think that they're going into like the university biology program and saying, don't study this, you can't publish these documents?
That's not the way it's done.
Wouldn't that mean they're also redacting information from organizations like 23andMe and Ancestry and those others?
Once you give your blood, once you give your saliva to 23andMe and these others, if you read the fine print, you gave away your DNA for the purposes of, creating
research. Yeah.
Big pharma.
Is the CIA and other intelligence organizations working directly with these companies to limit what information they put back out to the populace?
I don't know. I don't know that. That's why I mentioned Cosmos ID, because there's a company involved in the human genome, involved in bioinformatics, involved in DNA, and then you look at the company, and then you look at who are the consultants to that company. It's a who's who of IC officers. And the company was started by somebody from the National Science Foundation. And so if you go back to FOIA and you go back to National Science Foundation and you research who these people are, all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, these guys are really well connected. In fact, one of the officers was CEO of EG&G. EG&G was the parking lot where Eric W. Davis allegedly had his conversation with Admiral Wilson. He went to the EG&G facility in North Las Vegas. And the guy who was the CEO of that company, who is the operations maintenance contractor at Area 51, is part of the scientific consultation team for Cosmos ID.
CERN does, that big circle it accelerates particles in that big circle, around and around and around and around until they're traveling at just enormous velocity, and then they collide these particles together. And in that moment, it creates a moment that they think is kind of how the Big Bang started the whole universe. That's the whole purpose behind it. However, they also believe that there are parallel realities around us, other dimensions, and there could be other intelligence there. However, there's a reason God put them on the other side of that veil, and you might not want to open the door. Their own director of CERN has gave interviews to the British press in which he admits that's what they're trying to do. They want to open a door to another dimension. And he said, when we open this door, he said, something might come through it into our reality, or he said, we might send something through it into their reality. You can look that up. It's in the British press. Where the CERN was built, this is St. Genus Poeti. That's the name of the township. But in ancient days...
However, in the mid-1990s, a man came forth with a stunning story about his experiences in an underground base built under the Archuleta Mesa, just north of Dulce. His name was Phil Schneider.
Phil Schneider, he started going public in the mid-1990s, and he started attending some UFO conferences and started to reveal his background as a civil engineer. He showed his documentation that he was the son of an Operation Paperclip scientist, and that he was recruited into these covert programs. It tends to be a kind of generational thing, so he just followed his father's footsteps, building these underground bases that would be joint facilities for extraterrestrials and elite human units. So he's building these bases all over the place. He's part of the team that
what the motherfuckers look like
at different areas that would be suitable for the construction of a base. And he described a number of incidents. One of the incidents happened in 1979, the famous Dulce battle, where he says that they sunk a shaft. They were basically doing some mining exploration there to see where they could build a facility in that arena, and they basically came into an area that was a very old cavern system where grey extraterrestrials had a base. And the story was that what happened was that there were elite military units that went down there, Delta Forces and other special forces, SEALs and so forth, went down there, and they basically encountered these tall grey extraterrestrials. And so there was a firefight down there, and approximately 60 military personnel and scientists were killed, and Schneider gets wounded, but he's alive and he gets extracted out of there. So that's the famous Dulce battle, which was basically where the US military went into an area where they weren't supposed to be.
His version of events is that there was an altercation there. He was involved in the altercation. He was hit with some sort of a plasma weapon which seared off a portion of his hand, and that he had managed to escape with samples, synthetic samples that were synthesized by the Greys that essentially led to the development of our stealth technology. He was displaying these at conferences as part of these preparedness expos. He had this whole connection to aliens, essentially, and for him the catalyst was his time at Dulce. And it was this 1979 engagement with the Greys. And that's pretty much the crux of his story. And as you know, he went on the lecture circuit and died as a result.
Phil Schneider was an interesting character who's now deceased. His father was a man named Oscar Schneider, who had a lot of responsibility during the Second World War. Philadelphia experiment. He came forward.
There's a CIA document that came out. Everybody just started talking about it now. It's called the Adam and Eve story. It basically explains how the world is going to end. Has it been true? It makes sense. They say the world is going to end because the poles, like, North and South Pole, they shift every 12,000 to 15,000 years. And once they shift, it causes like a giant apocalypse. Big earthquakes, giant tsunamis. Once the apocalypse happens, we go right back to the Stone Age. And it said that our first humans, like as us, it was 10,000 years ago. So if you think about it, 10,000 years ago, we're in year 2000. We're at 12,000 years right now.
Yeah.
And now you see like global warming and like that. Like in the book, it says that we are the sixth civilization that came out of the apocalypse. So we just get to a certain point in life, and then it just. And And that explains a lot because remember how you were saying that the Sahara Desert used to be green and like the Antarctica used to have forests like that? That's what happens. Like it switches
everything flips.
So now like some places turn cold, some places turn hot. That's why they was talking about like the flood in the Bible like that. That's probably what happened to Atlantis and shit
I
like
was just
that.
about to say Atlantis. It would make sense for a city in the water if the water wasn't there before.
Who in
Right.
the Biltmore Mansion?
That's true.
John Podesta Art Collection. This is John Podesta, the Senior Advisor to the President for Clean Energy Innovation and Implementation. Podesta has worked under Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and now Joe Biden, and is responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars. So why would he have graphic art of bound children with parts referencing the satanic Red Shoe cult, who supposedly practice child sacrifice? Is this meant to be art?
What the fuck? That's not no art.
Restrained
That's
children
weird,
in
bro.
underwear. John's brother Tony, hanging with his wealthy elite friends, noticed the red shoes.
Whoa. Let me know what y'all think about this video, man. Let me know what y'all think. Like this video, thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. If y'all new to this channel, welcome, nigga.